Started, please make sure you have your water and your props if you have any. I'll go ahead and mute you, don't worry about that. And then we'll get started in a comfortable seat. Let's come and sit with our legs crossed in front of us, or just bring the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. And release the hands to your lap, to your knees, wherever you like. Roll the shoulders all the way up to the ears and back, and then all the way up to the ears and down, forward. Add a few stretches of the neck here, really stretching out the neck as you roll the head all the way around and from side to side. And then we're going to start with a few stretches of the neck before we get settled into our centering. We're going to take the hands behind our backs, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, press the knuckles towards the floor, and then allow the shoulders to rest away from the ears. As you can see, instead of having them up, crept up, I'm just pulling them all the way down. And then I'm pressing ear into one shoulder, really stretching out the side of the neck here, and allow yourself to really press it down as if you're pulling the head down. And you can also do that if you like. You can just place one hand on the side of the head and press it down lightly. And then turn the head to the side and press the chin down. You're going to feel the stretch right into the front here, into the collarbone. And then press the chin to the center, and then from side to side. And then all the way over to the opposite side. Ear into shoulder, and then all the way back. And you can roll the head from side to side, just feeling those little cracks there in the back of the neck. Reverse that circle that you just created, whether it is as fast or as slow as the previous one, is your choice. And then we'll get started. We'll release the hands, shake them off. And actually we'll get started with massages of the jaw. So bring the two fingertips, index finger and middle finger, right into your jawline, right in between upper jaw and lower jaw. In order to find that muscle that I'm talking about that you want to pinpoint down or massage, you want to open and close the bottom of your mouth. It's easy for me because I'm talking, but that muscle that's moving underneath your fingertips when you are talking, or when you open up your mouth or close your mouth, that's the muscle that you're going to feel tension, that is tensed up and is tight underneath your fingertips. That's the muscle that you want to massage a little bit here and relax as much as you can. And maybe that point refers to your gums, maybe it refers to your neck or your eyebrows, up or down, the head. Just so trace that referring point wherever it goes. So if it goes up to your eyebrows, that means you might be holding tension because of sinus headaches. If it's going down to your gums, it might be retaining tension because of your neck being tight. So see if you can trace that point up or down, or both, whatever feels comfortable for you. But allow yourself to really press firmly into those muscles and release some of the tension. So you're giving yourself a little self-care here, a little self-massage. I usually feel the tension going down. So I'm going to the sides of my neck, not the front, but the sides of my neck, and really pressing into those muscles. And I feel the tension underneath my fingertips. So I'm just stretching them up and down and then side to side. And then I'm going to begin to pedal my feet, my fingertips rather, not my feet, but my fingertips into my shoulders. And in order to get a better grip, I'm just going to take my opposite hand to my opposite shoulder. So feel free to join me when you're there. When you take your one hand into opposite shoulder, your middle finger is going to come right into the scapula, and the side of your scapula, there's always a point there that we hold tension. So feel free to just massage that point or just press it down. Another good trick to put a tennis ball when you are up against the wall, you can put a tennis ball right into that spot there. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. I tend to have tension more on my right than my left. So it's that spot is always referring down my shoulder, down my right arm. And it really depends if you're using one hand more than the other. Excellent. And then when you're ready, you can begin to release. Roll the shoulders back and over the hips once again and sit comfortably. Close your eyes. You can take a few deep breaths here, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. And allow yourself to sigh it out here, whether that sigh is audible or inaudible. Just let it go. You should be feeling a little bit more relaxed in the upper body, in the upper region of neck and shoulders, maybe facial muscles. And then slowly begin to observe your breath. As you inhale, begin to bloat up the belly, stretching out through the ribs, expanding through the collarbone, sitting a little taller. Imagine somebody is pulling the crown of your head up towards the sky, up towards the ceiling. So you're pulling your chest away from the belly, you're pulling the belly, the bottom of the belly away from your thighs, and you're stretching vertebra by vertebra, as if you're stretching out your spine. And as you exhale, try not to lose that length in the spine that you just created, but rather create some softness. Softness in the shoulders, softness in the back of the jaw, the eyebrows, the fingertips on your knees, on your thighs. And continue with this breath. With each inhale, you want to find a little extra space. With each exhale, you want to let go of a little extra tension that you might be holding on to, wherever you're holding on to it. This is your deep abdominal breathing. Sometimes it feels difficult to engage into this breathing because we have limited amount of space in our abdomen, limited amount of space in our lungs, because our lungs are being squished by baby. So allow yourself to find however long this breath can be. Focus more on the exhales. That is my point of this breath, that I want you to let go as much as possible instead of focusing on the inhale, which tends to be a little bit more anxious causing because we're not able to inhale as much as we want to. Focus more on the sighing out, on the exhaling and letting go. By now, you ladies have been with me for a few weeks now, and so you know that I always try to work with an intention, whether that's the same exact intention for you. Please bring that into your mind, craft that intention. Whatever that mantra is, that goal in your mind is, that keeps you steady, that keeps you strong, that keeps you motivated through this entire journey, through pregnancy, through labor, most importantly, and then into motherhood, the non-ending journey of motherhood. Whatever that mantra is, that one word, that one sentence, set that for yourself. And if it's different every single week, that's perfect. If it's the same every single week, perfect. Make it be one that you remember and you keep repeating to yourself during those challenging times. Bring the palms together in front of the heart. Press the thumbs into the sternum, the center of your chest, and lift the sternum up so you're lengthening through the upper back, sitting a little taller even. Take a deep breath in, set that intention for yourself, and exhale it out through the mouth. And then let's rub the palms together. Let's rub the palms so much that we're creating enough heat and enough energy between the palms. And then we're able to, when we have enough of both, we can place those palms on top of a part of the body that needs that extra attention, that extra balance, that extra motivation, whatever it may be that you're seeking today. Maybe it's two different parts, maybe it's the same part, whatever it may be. Excellent. And then we'll begin to release the hands to our knees. We can open up our eyes. Let's cross the opposite leg in the front here, just to kind of find a little more balance in the hips. So whatever leg you have in the front, change your crossover to the opposite side. And we're going to continue with side bend. So reach the hands up towards the sky, lift the hands up. And as you exhale over to the right, you're going to drop your right hand, bend to that right elbow, relax the right shoulder, and stretch as much as you can through that side body. Inhale back into center. Exhale over to the opposite side. As always, we're going to do two more. But the idea is that you're creating more and more space as you're coming into your side bend. So you want to make sure that you're side bending a little deeper each time. You're bending into that bottom elbow a little bit more. And if you want to join me for the last one where I'm adding it a little mid-back stretch, feel free to join me for that. As you inhale, reach up. You're going to turn the torso towards the right side, drop the hand, and then reach up and over as if you're reaching towards the back corner of the room. So you're feeling that in the mid-back section. Come back to center, turn over to the opposite side, and do the opposite side. Let's come back to center, reach the hands up. Let's take a slight twist over to the right, just to kind of flex the spine here, not too deep. Of course, if you feel the belly is on your thigh, just maybe open up that leg a little bit more. So I'm just basically bringing my knee a little further out, so the belly is not touching and not being compressed by the thigh. And then we're going to come all the way back up and stretch it over to the opposite side. And the same thing, if the belly is touching the thigh, you can just take your left knee out to the side a little bit more. Let's come back to center, reach the hands up, and release. We're going to draw the knees together, shift over to one side. We're going to come into all fours. Feel free to cushion the knees with a blanket if you need to, especially if you're on a hardwood floor. And then we're going to take some organic movements of the spine here. Whatever feels good, whatever feels natural. Close your eyes here, sink in. There's no right or wrong. You're just walking the hands a little further out. You're circling the hips all the way around. After sitting all day, if you've been sitting all week or yesterday and today or all weekend, you want to create some flexibility and some mobility in the hips. So you want to send your sit bones or your hips all different directions as much as you can. And you might discover those little corners of tension wherever they're hiding. Let's stretch out the feet. Curl the toes under and press the hips back into the heels. Just press the floor away from you here. You don't have to sit all the way up. We're not coming into a discomfort pose. We're just pressing the hips back into the heels to stretch it out a little bit more. This is really good for the feet, especially if they're becoming swollen and retaining fluids. This is really good just to kind of create that circulation and that blood flow from the feet all the way up and back down again. And then, of course, all of you should be feeling this little stretch here and the tension in the bottom of the belly because the belly is growing. If you are with me, then walk the hands a little further. And again, this is a lazy up dog. So you're kind of easing into it. I'm just shifting over to the left side and then shifting over to the right side. Instead of collapsing into both sides forward, I'm just easing into the stretch instead of pulling the round ligaments or risking pulling the round ligaments as I shift forward. And then we'll come back into all fours. If you can walk the hands closer to you, walk the knees closer to each other, especially if you open them up. And then we'll start with a little cat and cow. So as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, round the spine, press the back of the spine all the way up. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. Exhale to round, run as much as you can. If you feel a pull when you're dropping the belly, try not to drop it as much. So drop it once again. And then as you exhale, round as much as you can. The rounding is a really good stretch for the entire spine. And then drop the head so you're feeling this stretching your neck as well. We're going to come back into table, back into all fours. And then we're going to bring the right foot back. Straighten out the leg and keep the ball of the foot on the floor and take it over to the left side. and look over your left shoulder. The further up you can see that straight leg, the more of a side bend you're gonna feel on your right side. So try not to collapse into your shoulders here. Really press the floor away and take that right foot over to the left a little bit more, and then press your ribs towards that right side of the room. Let's bring it back into center. And then let's bend the knee to 90-degree angle and flex the foot. As you inhale, press the foot up towards the sky, engage your glute, and then release the knee to the ground. We're gonna do 4 more of those. Inhale to press up, exhale to release. Inhale to press up, exhale, release. Inhale, press up, flex that foot, and release. Last one. Inhale to press up, and release. Now we're gonna press up and pulsate for 10. So count with me if you like. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then straighten out that leg to release through the hamstring. You can even release the ball of the foot on the floor and just rock forward and back here as you're stretching out the calf, the back of the knee, and the hamstring. Excellent. Let's begin to release the knee close to you, close to your hands. Open up the knees mat distance apart, and then shift the hips back into the heels, release into your child's pose. You can always bring a block underneath the forehead for child's pose. You can bring a bolster underneath the chest, especially if the belly is touching the floor and that's too much. Feel free to just release all the way back. Relax the shoulders. Take a deep breath in, let it out through the mouth. And let's do one more exactly like that. Inhale, and then sigh it out. Excellent. With your next inhale, we're going to press the palms to the floor, reach the fingertips towards the top of the mat, spread the fingertips wide, curl the toes, and lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take any props off to the side. And you can begin to pedal the feet here, especially if your hamstrings are tight. You're going to start to feel a nice little stretch here by pedaling the feet. And you can even open up the feet mat distance apart so that you're feeling a little bit of extra space for the belly. Allow your head to relax so the neck is stretching here, pulling the crown of the head towards the floor. I like to bend into my right knee so much that the left heel is almost touching the floor, and vice versa. Pressing my sit bones up towards the sky, so find whatever movements work for you here. And then with your next breath, let's find some stillness. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, press both heels into the floor, lengthening through two different directions. And as you inhale, shift forward into your plank. As you exhale, drop your right knee to the floor, right below your right hip. So make sure you walk it in a little bit if you need to. Right shoulder right on top of right wrist, and let's open up into side plank. You're extending your left leg and planting the left foot to the ground. Reach the left fingertips up towards the sky. If you're stable enough, ladies, here, engage that left leg and lift the left foot. Flex the left foot. Excellent. Now we're going to reach the left fingertips towards the front, where the crown of the head is, towards the head. Excellent. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to bring elbow into knee and engage through your obliques. So you're doing a little oblique strengthener here. Inhale to reach away, lengthen, 2 different directions, and exhale to bring elbow into knee. We're just going to do one more. Inhale, exhale. As you inhale, reach away, stay here, or if you want to take it a step further and you feel balanced enough, bend the left knee, grab hold of the foot, and press it away from your sit bone. So you're adding a little bit of a hip flexor stretch and a little bit of a back bend. And when you're able to safely come into all fours, back into table, back into hands and knees. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze, look up. And as you exhale, round the spine. Let's come back into table, back into all fours. Grab those blocks or those books, whatever you have for your props here for stability. We're going to take the right foot through. You want to make sure you're grabbing your hips here and you're drawing that right hip down so the hips are even here. You're not kind of hiking up and eliminating this space here. So you want to draw it down And then begin to straighten out that right leg and flex the foot. Point the toes up towards the sky. Inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, lean forward, pressing your chest towards your toes, and then walk those blocks or those books closer to you so that you're able to find length in the spine without rounding the upper back just to get there. Now, you're going to start to tilt the tailbone towards the back as much as you can, and that will intensify the stretch in the back of that right leg. See if you can micro bend the back of that right knee, and then see if you can tilt the tailbone a little bit more. Inhale to lengthen here, and as you exhale, press your chest forward. Keep lengthening. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, press the chest forward. Deep breath in. Exhale, press the chest forward. Very nice. Let's begin to bend into the front knee. Draw the front knee towards you, so the front knee is right on top of the front ankle. Reach the hands up towards the sky. Grab hold of your left wrist and take a side bend over to the right. Relax the shoulders here so they're not creeping up to the ears, but rather they're drawing down. You want to feel the side bend on the left side body. Inhale back to center. Release the hands to your blocks, and then we're going to take that right foot out to the side. We're going to release the hands to the floor, and then we're going to bend into that right knee, turn the right toes out to the side, and then walk the hands over to that right side. So you're going to find this stretch in the inner thigh here, maybe inner hip, maybe outer hip. Press the chest towards that corner of the room that you are facing. Find length in the spine, try not to round the upper back. And then find a little movement here. I'm just rocking side to side, but maybe you're circling the hips. Maybe you find a little pelvic tilt. Maybe a figure 8. This is a great position for contractions. So finding figure 8s when you're coming into contractions, it keeps the mind really busy. Especially if you're trying to figure out how to reverse those figure 8s. Let's take a deep breath in, press back into that right side, and then we'll come back into center. And we're going to release so we can find our first discomfort pose. So today we're working with arms and legs. You're going to curl the toes under, shift the hips back into the heels, and then we're going to take the arms out to a T. And let's get started. We're going to create circles with the arms all the way back. Halfway through, we're going to create the circles all the way to the front. So we're going to reverse the circles. Find what works for you here, what is feeling good to relax you. I know this is the time of tension and challenge, so maybe you just close your eyes and you focus on your breath. Maybe you keep repeating that mantra to yourself, or you try all of those techniques. Maybe you do horse flips for yourself, just like we do usually in wall squats. Find whatever works for you. Let's reverse the circles for the arms. Try to relax and not think about the tension in the feet or the tension in the shoulders that we are creating. Of course, I'm making this worse for you, especially for those of you that said you're feeling tension in the shoulders. But really, can you soften the shoulders and not bring the attention there? Take a deep breath in, sigh it out. Relax the back of the jaw. Change the situation in your arms. You can create figure 8s if you like, or widen the circles. One more deep breath, ladies. Let it out and shake it off. Excellent. Let's uncurl the toes, tap the tops of the feet on the floor. Sometimes I wonder which one is worse, the arms or the feet. Excellent. And then let's try a little bit of a stretch for the arms. So you're going to just turn the fingertips facing down and press the fingertips towards you. So you're stretching out your forearm here. Feel free to try the opposite side. These stretches are extremely good, especially if you're feeling any type of carpal tunnel syndrome during pregnancy. It tends to creep up on us sometimes. So make sure that you are trying those stretches, especially if you're on the computer all day and typing. And we're going to come back into all fours, back into table. A little bit of cat and cow once again to just tilt the pelvis and find some flexibility and mobility there. Inhale. As you exhale, round the spine. Deep breath in. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale to come back into your table. You're going to take the left foot back behind you and bring the left foot over to the right side. Look over your right shoulder. The further up you can see that straight leg, the more of a side bend you're going to feel on that left side. Press the floor away so you're not collapsing into your shoulders. Take the foot over to the right a little bit more, and then let's bring it back into center. Let's bend the knee to 90-degree angle, flex the foot. Press it up towards the sky, engage your glute, and then begin to release. 4 more. Inhale to press up, engage. Exhale to release. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale to press up. Exhale. Now we're going to pulsate for 10. Deep breath in. 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch it out and then slowly begin to release. You can open up the knees mat distance apart, shift the hips back into the heels, release into your child's pose. You can bring any props that may make your child's pose a little more comfortable here. 2 more deep breaths, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. And then with your next breath in, begin to reach the fingertips towards the top of the mat. Engage to the palms, engage to the hands, spread the fingertips wide, curl the toes, and let's begin to lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. I'm going to give you a stretch, and it's a little bit confusing with the lefts and the rights. So try to pay attention as much as you can here. So you're going to turn your right toes towards the right upper corner of your mat or your room and plant the right foot fully to the ground as you're bending into your left knee and pressing your right bum up towards the sky. So you're going to feel this in the outer glute, even the outer edge of your hamstring, and even your IT band. And I think, Ashley, you might be feeling it where you've been feeling the tension. And now let's come back to center and then turn your left toes towards the left upper corner of the room. Fully plant your left foot to the ground, bend into the right knee, collapse into the right side, but press your left glute up towards the sky. I feel it right in the corner of my glute there. And of course, you can shift a little bit to see where you're feeling it. We're going to come back into center. Inhale to shift forward into your plank and drop the left knee to the ground, right below your left hip. So make sure you're stabilized here. And then we're going to open up into a side plank. So make sure left shoulder is on top of left wrist, left hip right on top of left knee. Reach the right fingertips up towards the sky. When you're ready, if you're ready, lift the right foot, energize the leg, and flex the foot. Now you can stay here, or you can join me for that oblique strengthener. Reach the right hand up and over the side of the head. Reach away, lengthen, and as you exhale, elbow into knee. Inhale to reach away, lengthen. Exhale, elbow into knee. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to reach away. Stay there, or bend the back knee, grab hold of the foot, and press the foot away from your sit bone, adding a little bit of a length in the front and a stretch in the hip flexor. When you're ready, we can come back into all fours. Add a little cat and cow, just one more to just kind of make sure that we are stabilizing the spine. And then we're going to come and grab our blocks or books. You're going to bring your left foot through. Bring the hands to your hips, making sure that you're squaring off the hips. So draw that left hip down And then begin to straighten out that left leg as you flex the foot. Lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, hinge forward at the hip crease and release the hands to your props. Try to make sure that you're not rounding the upper back just to get to those props. And the more you tilt your tailbone back, the more tension you're going to feel behind that left knee. See if you can micro bend that left knee, creating a little less tension, but at the same time, a little extra stretch in the hamstring and the attachment where the sit bones connect to the pelvis, and even a little more space for the lower back. Let's take a deep breath in, lengthen. Exhale to press the chest forward a little more. One more deep breath in. Let it out with the sigh, even if that helps. Let's come back to center. We're gonna plant that foot right underneath that left knee. Reach the hands up towards the sky. Grab hold of your right wrist. Take a side bend over to the left. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to side bend. Come back to center. Make sure you're bringing your blocks to the inside for stability, and then you're going to take your left foot out to the side. Plant the hands to the floor. Turn your toes out, and then bend into the left knee as you walk your hands toward that left side. So try not to stay centered here. You're actually walking over towards that left side. And then finding whatever movement works for you. Maybe it's the same exact movement that you did on the opposite side, maybe a little different. But you want to bring that awareness in the inner thighs here. You're stretching inner thighs, pelvic floor muscles. You're not worrying about the round ligament here. You're finding a little extra space at the bottom of the pelvis and the inside, instead of worrying how you can stretch out that area without pulling the round ligament. And then we're going to come back to center and find our last child's pose as you're coming to your knees and hands. Open up the knees mat distance apart, shift the hips back, and release all the way down. Relax your shoulders, relax the back of the mouth, relax the head and the neck. Deep breath, inhaling in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. One more. Exhale. And then with your next breath in, we're going to begin to walk the hands towards us. We're going to come in for our second discomfort pose, this time a squat. We've lost Caroline this time. I'm wondering if she went into labor a little earlier. Perhaps this was her second one, so it could be. So no one is going to that deep squat. We're all coming up higher. So we're going to come and walk the feet up further away, bend the knees to about 90-degree angle, and then allow all the forearms to rest onto our thighs. Relax the shoulders here, relax the head. You can shake it yes, you can shake it no. Roll your wrists. You can move from side to side. The idea of what I'm trying to relay here, the message that I'm trying to relay is that when you're having those contractions, try to find a little bit of rocking sensation. Try to find a little bit of movement. You don't want to stay in freezing mode, in stationary mode, and feel that tension rising as your muscles are just tensing and freezing up even more. You want to find a little movement. When babies are fussy, what do? We rock them. And if we find a little movement in our bodies, our own bodies, maybe we get a little distraction. Maybe we get a little more calmness in the body. So relax the shoulders, relax your breath. Figure out where else you're feeling the tension instead of just your thighs. Sit a little lower. Release that tension as much as you can. Focus only on your breath. Sit a little lower, ladies, and let's come all the way back up. Not back up, but all the way up. Excellent. Shake it off, and you can even just grab your thighs here and shake them off. We're going to find a relaxation pose. I'm going to get started with that L shape just because low back is always taking a toll during pregnancy. So we're going to fold the blanket in half if you have one. You can even roll it up to make it a little taller, a little thicker. I'm going to place it away from the wall or away from a surface that you can lean on, maybe a couple feet away. I'm going to bring the balls of the feet on the blanket, heels off the blanket, and then lean towards that surface to come into an L shape. So you can watch me if you're curious, and then you can tilt your tailbone out and back and press your chest towards the floor. So this is stretching out the back of your knees, your calves, and your hamstrings. And as you're tilting your tailbone back, you're going all the way up to the sit bones. And that's how you're taking care of the low back tension or tightness if you're feeling it. This is not the best for the upper back, so try to hug the belly in a little bit and then press down. And try not to stay in it for too long. You can always come out of it, especially after you feel a little tension release in the hamstrings. Make sure you hydrate, grab some water. And we're going to get started with our standing flow as we're coming back to our mats, back to the top of the mat. Like I said, we're working on arms today and legs, so we're going to change it up a little bit with our standing flow. Bring the blocks or the books, wherever you have at the top of your mat. Bring the feet a little further apart from each other, not hip distance, but just a little further away from hip distance apart to have stability. Reach the hands up towards the sky. Grab hold of your left wrist and take a side bend over to your right. Inhale back to center. Grab hold of your right wrist and take a side bend over to your left. Inhale back to center. Reach the fingertips up towards the sky, and then as you exhale, trace your midline, releasing the hands to your blocks or to your shins if you don't have any. Lengthen the spine halfway up, long spine. Exhale to fold a little bit, just enough so that the belly feels comfortable. We're going to keep the right foot forward, and we're going to take the left foot back and come into our lunge. So walk the blocks back into the inside of that right foot. So you're coming into a nice long but high lunge. So try not to collapse forward like I'm doing right here. Try to make sure your hips are at shoulder height and you're staying nice and high so that you don't pull those round ligaments. And turn the right foot further out if the right thigh is pressing onto the belly. Excellent. Inhale here, and as you exhale, run or stretch. So you're going to press back and straighten out both legs. I don't know if you can see, but I'm flexing my front foot. My front toes are pointing up towards the sky. Inhale back into your lunge. Exhale back into run or stretch. Deep breath in, forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Release the hands to the floor. And then we're going to take both feet back into our plank. Release the knees to the ground. And this is where we're going to try those arms. So we're going to walk the hands further away from each other. Bend into the elbows. Come down as you exhale. Press up. We're just doing two more. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Very nice. Let's begin to walk the hands towards the left side of the mat. Bring the right foot to the outside of those hands. Curl your back toes. Grab your blocks once again to come nice and high. And then spiral open through that back leg. Plant it parallel to the back of the mat. And let's open up Warrior Two. Very nice. Let's begin to engage through the inner thighs here and really press that right knee towards the outer edge of the right foot. Not closer to the right toe, the big right toe, but closer to the middle toes instead. Very nice. Inhale to come and bring the palms together in front of the heart. Straighten out the front leg. And exhale to bend into the front knee and plant that front knee right on top of the front ankle. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Let it out. Press it up. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Now begin to straighten out the front leg. A little pocket of space behind that right knee, so don't lock it. Shift the hips back, reach forward as much as you can with your right fingertips, keep reaching, and then bring your right hand to your block, wherever you have, into the inside of that right foot as you reach your left fingertips up towards the sky. Now you want to lengthen, press the chest towards the wall you're facing, and as you exhale, can you turn the torso a little bit more towards that wall you're facing? Very nice. Bend into the front knee, so you're able to come all the way back up into your warrior two. Release the hands to your hips. Turn the feet parallel to each other. If you're feeling that SI joint feeling out of balance today, or if you're feeling your lower back in tension, bring the toes in, heels out. So internally rotate your hips. Inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, halfway or all the way down. So depending on what you feel comfortable with here. I like to keep halfway up sometimes because there's too much blood rushing to my head if I'm folding all the way down. So feel free to just place your hands on a block and stay halfway up. And then begin to shift your hips from side to side without bending the knees. See how that feels in the inner thighs again. Let's come back to center. We're going to plant the right hand right in front of our face, either on the floor, on the block, or a book, whatever you have in front of you. Press the floor away and take the left hand up towards the sky. And as you're doing that, your sacrum wants to shift. See if you can keep your sacrum as is, and then feel the twist through your torso instead. And then release. Left hand to the ground, press the floor away, take the right hand up towards the sky. Watch out for the sacrum. Once again, see if you can keep it straight and just feel the torso stretch and twist. It might not be as a deep of a stretch or as open of a stretch, but it's okay. And then release. And then we're going to toe heel the feet back in. We're going to come in for our third discomfort pose. Keeping the toes out, heels in. We're going to come into a chair squat. So you're reaching the hands up towards the sky. You're bending into your knees and you're shifting your bum out and back. Again, I'm finding a little movement. I'm picking up my feet up off the floor even so that I'm not tensing up and freezing up through my feet. I'm softening my knees, so try not to lock your knees at any point throughout labor. When you're standing, make sure your knees are always soft, so therefore less pressure for the low back. Relax your shoulders, roll your wrists. I know the arms can get really strained here and really tense, so make sure that you are finding a little bit of movement in the arms. And if you really have to, just release them, shake them off, and bring them back up. You can roll your head from side to side. Make sure you sit a little lower, feel that tension, endure that tension, accept it, but at the same time, let it go through your exhale. And then for the last 10 seconds, let's sit down an inch, come up an inch, sit down an inch, come up an inch, sit down an inch. One more. Excellent. Shake it off. Come out of it. You can grab your thighs and just simply shake them off. If you're feeling that lower back pain or tension, feel free to come into that L shape once again. Or if you are more for the hip stretch, grab the wall or a surface around you. Externally rotate your right or your left hip. Bring the right or the left ankle on top of the standing leg, right above the knee, and then sit down. So as if you're sticking your bum out and back, press your chest forward. Try not to shift the weight back. I say this a lot because I see it in class. We tend to shift the weight back into our heels and kind of pulling that surface towards us. Instead, make sure that you're just centered in the weight on that standing foot. One side is always tighter than the other. So make sure you're staying in the tighter side a little longer than you would in the more open side. The more you tilt your tailbone back, the more you're going to feel this. The more you sit down and press your chest forward, the more you're going to feel this. This is good for any pain from that sciatic nerve or any hip tension or tightness in general. Since we're doing arms today, and you might want to find a little bit of relaxation in the arms, you can do this, of course, after the final discomfort pose, but I don't have a wall to show you. Imagine this is my wall right here. I'm just going to come to my knees. I had to switch my positioning because of my lighting. So take your arm up against the wall. So have the arm parallel to the wall, and then press the torso away from the wall. So you're going to feel this in your pec major area, in your bicep area, right underneath the armpit a little bit. The more you press the wall away, the more you're going to feel this, especially because you might be working at home and you might be working over a computer right now. This area is going to give you a little extra space in the upper back, especially if you feel that tension with more and more weight of the chest. Take it over to the opposite side, of course, when you're ready. Don't forget this stretch is very beneficial when you are postpartum as well, when you're breastfeeding, because you tend to round your backs for holding the baby, breastfeeding, constantly looking over the baby. So you want to make sure you're taking care of that area as much as possible. And let's come back to our mats, ladies. When you're ready, please make sure you're hydrating, of course, if you haven't already. We're going to come to the top of the mat. Once again, feet are a little more than hip distance apart, so we're stabilized here. Reach the hands up. This time, bend your left elbow, grab your left elbow with your right hand, and then take your side bend over to your right side. So again, you're stretching out your shoulder here, and this is going to feel a little more intense. Come back to the center, grab your right elbow with your left hand, and take your side bend over to the left. Come back to the center, reach the hands up towards the sky, trace your midline, right back down into your forward fold onto your shins or your blocks or your books. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold slightly. Left foot stays forward, right foot walks back, and then bring the blocks right by the side of the left foot and open the left foot to the side even if that's too much for your belly. So wide lunge here. So walk those blocks or those books to the inside of the left foot and stay nice and high. Inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, you're going to shift the hips back and straighten out both legs. The back heel will want to touch the floor. It won't touch, and it's okay. Inhale to shift forward. As you exhale, shift back. Keep flexing that front foot so you're stretching out both calves. Inhale to shift forward. As you exhale, shift back. Now shift forward into your lunge. Release the blocks out to the side. Plant the hands to the floor. Take that left foot all the way out to the side. Back to your plank. Release your knees to the ground. We're going to open up our palms rather, nice and wide here, and start with those push-ups, okay? Are you ready? Inhale. Exhale to press down. Deep breath in, up. Exhale, down. Last one. Inhale, up. Exhale. And then let's walk the hands all the way to the right side of our mat. Take your left foot all the way to the outside of the mat, the left side. Curl your back toes, lift the back knee, grab your blocks if you need to, and then spiral open through that back foot. Find your warrior 2 foot pattern and come all the way up into your warrior 2. Adjust if you need to here, maybe widen your stance, maybe shorten your stance depending on how you feel. But the idea is that we energize through the pelvic floor. So we're engaging our inner thighs. So draw that front knee right on top of the front ankle. And then reach the hands out in front to the sides. Deep breath in, bring the palms together in front of you. Straighten out the front leg. Exhale to press out. Keep bending that front knee right on top of the front ankle. Excellent, ladies. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. Let it out. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Let it out. Begin to straighten out the front leg, a little pocket of space behind the knee. Shift the hips back, reach forward as much as you can with your left fingertips. Come all the way down to your block, to the inside of that left foot. Reach the right fingertips up towards the sky. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, so press your chest towards the wall you're facing. And as you exhale, turn and twist a little bit more. To come out of this, to avoid engaging the core too much, bend into the front knee, come all the way back up. Release the hands to your hips. You can turn the feet parallel to each other or toes in, heels out. If you did so on the opposite side as well, you can do it on this side. And then fold halfway or all the way down. This time we're stretching out legs. So feel free once again to shift the hips from side to side without bending the knees. Notice if that feels any different for the inner thighs. And then begin to bend one knee and bend into the other without picking up the feet off of the floor just yet. Just noticing where the stretch is and how far down the legs is going. And then begin to flex the foot of the straight leg and bring your seat a little closer to the floor as you're shifting from side to side. When you're ready, you can begin to toe heel the feet back in and shake it off. Excellent. How are we feeling? Thumbs up? Very nice. Okay, let's find that last discomfort pose. Actually, let's do a balance pose. We have some time to do a balance pose first, just to kind of check in with balance. And then we can go and reward ourselves with that last discomfort pose. So we're going to do tree pose, okay? So find yourself either near a wall, near a surface, or just in the center of your mat, just depending on how stable you feel today. You're going to open up the feet nice and wide. Make sure the feet are parallel to each other, but make sure that they're nice and wide, not hip distance apart, but a little wider. When you're ready, roll the shoulders over the hips, so just kind of lengthening through the spine here. And then shift the weight over to the right side. You can come in for a kickstand here. So half foot is on the floor, half off on the ankle. Maybe the whole foot is on the ankle as you're bringing that right, or the left foot rather, further up. Or maybe the calf or above the knee into the thigh. Just not on the knee joint, ladies, either above or below. And then allow the hands to rest on the belly, or maybe heart center, or maybe reach them up and branch them off. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in, exhale. As you inhale, reach the fingertips up and then try to lift off that bottom hip, lengthening through the spine as if you're being pulled up towards the sky. And then slowly begin to trace the midline right back down. Hug that left knee off to the side and then begin to release, kick off that bottom leg. So you're feeling a little release there. Excellent. We're going to come over to the opposite side. So bring the feet parallel to each other, outer hip distance apart. Once again, let's begin to shift the weight over to the left side. Externally rotate your right knee. Your right knee can come off to the side or a little forward, it's fine. But make sure that you're not on the joint, on the knee joint with that right foot. So either above or below, find your variation that works for you on this side. Hands can rest wherever they may on this side. You can reach the fingertips up towards the sky or branch them off if you like. Now the idea is that we want to press away from that bottom hip. So as you inhale, lengthen away, press away, grow a couple inches taller. Take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, trace your midline right back down. Hug that knee off to the side and then shake it off. Very nice. Let's find that reward, that last discomfort pose. So you have two choices here. You can join me for up an inch, down an inch squat, or you can come into a wall squat if you have a wall surface nearby and you want to do that. Remember that sometimes stillness can be more challenging than the actual movement in a squat. So make sure you find whatever works for you. The kiddos are getting hungry here. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna find my movement squat. So I have my hands to heart center or my hips. I'm gonna go down an inch, up an inch. I see all of you chose the wall. That's excellent. So join me for a few horse flips here. Take a deep breath in. Remember, it's always beneficial to vocalize your discomfort or your tension. So make sure that you're expressing noise. And instead of screaming, it's really good to just vibrate those vocal cords and just to grunt and let it out. So join me for an om, and you can even hum at the back of your vocal cords if you like. Take a deep breath in. And let's find a little massage in the shoulders, maybe a pressure point. You can press with your index finger and thumb right in between that opposite index finger and thumb, that meaty part, and just press there for a little distraction. And come on out of it, ladies. Shake it off. Excellent. Very proud of you today. Very nice. Find a relaxation pose. So we had the L shape, we had the figure 4, that shoulder stretch. We can also do what we did in our side plank, that hip stretch, the hip flexor stretch. Grab the surface or the wall, and then bend the knee, grab hold of the foot and press the foot away from you, lengthening as much as you can here. The more you press the foot away, the more you're gonna feel it in your hip flexor stretch. Excuse me. Another good one is to take your hand onto a wall or any surface, but allow it to be shoulder height, and then be arm length distance apart from the wall. This is nice for a full body side bend. And then take your outer foot behind you as a curtsy, bend both knees, shift the hips away from the wall, and then take the outer hand up and over towards the wall. You're gonna feel this as a nice stretch in the side of the belly. I think, Emily, you might like this, especially because you're really stretching through the side belly and not having to stretch through the front. Excellent. And Emily, keep pressing your hips away from that wall and bend both knees if you can too. And it's gonna give you a little bit more leverage. Excellent. Hopefully that helps create a little extra space. And of course, do any opposite sides that you may have not done already. Make sure to hydrate, and we're gonna come back down to our mats. Of course, take your time. I'm not rushing you in any way. Just take your time to finish up with whatever other poses you have. We've done a lot of discomfort poses today, so just make sure that you're finding what works for you. As you're coming down to the mat, just bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart, coming into your Baddha Konasana, your butterfly pose. Grab hold of your ankles or your knees and just begin with your deep abdominal breathing for pelvic floor exercises. So close your eyes here and really focus on what you're doing with your breath and what you're doing with your pelvic floor. Ladies, again, this is not, I know we're making it more invasive and more complicated than it should be, but this is basically the Kegels that we're doing, but we're not doing them so pulsating and so fast and so tightening. Instead, we do them a little slower and we sink them in with our breath, our long, deep breathing. So as you inhale, you are stretching those muscles, and as you exhale, at the end of your exhale, you pull them up and in to fully release any air left in your torso, any air left in your abdomen. the idea is that we are creating these stretches a little slower so that we can create flexibility and more control, more awareness of the pelvic floor muscles, what they do, and how we can relax them in the time of need. Close your eyes and focus on these. And of course, I encourage you to practice them as much as you can on your own before you go to bed or throughout the day whenever you have some downtime to yourself. These are going to be extremely beneficial for birth, but specifically for after birth, for postpartum. When you exhale and engage those muscles at the end of your exhale, feel free to hold for a count or two, understanding that engagement and understanding that control that you can have over them, and then begin to release. You can try one more deep breath. When you're ready, you can relax. We're going to come in for our final stretch here before we find our Shavasana. So this stretch today is for the hips. Hopefully it feels good and not too painful. So we're going to feel free to sit on the edge of your blanket. I like to sit on the edge of the blanket just to have a little more leverage here. So feel free to sit on the edge of it. We're going to bring the right leg in front of us, 90-degree angle for that right leg, for that right knee. So my shin is parallel to the front of the mat. My thigh is parallel to the side of the mat. And then I'm flexing my foot. So the sole of the foot is pointing towards the side of the room. And then I'm bringing my opposite leg right on top. So I have my ankle on top of my knee on top of my ankle, and shin on top of shin. So if you have a huge gap here, don't worry about it. Just stay nice and straight where you are. No need to lean forward. But if your knee is a little closer to your ankle and you feel a little bit more flexible, place the hands to your sides and then just hinge forward at the hip crease. So instead of rounding the upper back, just make sure you're pressing your chest forward, just lengthening the spine here, and then feeling the tension in both of the hips rise. Of course, I want you to focus on your breath, right? So close your eyes if you're able to. And let's start a little bit of a flow here. With each inhale, we're going to try to find a little bit of space. We're going to find a little bit of length in the spine. And with each exhale, we're going to find a little bit of a lean forward. So you're going to just press your chest forward a little more. Stay right where you are. Even if it's just an inch that you press forward, that's absolutely fine. As you exhale, press forward a little more. Stay right where you are. Instead of pressing back, see if you can lengthen with your next inhale, and then see if you can release a little more. Now let's begin to press back. Let's unwind the legs. Take the feet out in front of you, windshield wipe from side to side. We're going to take it over to the opposite side. So we're going to bring the left knee in front of us, 90-degree angle for that knee. Flex the foot. Make sure the feet are flexed so that your ankles are safe and your knee joints also are safe. And then stack the opposite leg right on top. Very nice. This side may be a little different, may look a little different, may feel a little different. So you see if you want to stay nice and straight up or if you want to lean forward again. With your breath, as you close your eyes and as you focus on your breath, you should be able to release that tension that's rising, release that tension that is in your hip. Take a deep breath in. Lean forward, even if it's just an inch, releasing some of that tension and releasing it out through your exhales. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. We can begin to lean back. Unwind the legs out in front of you. You can windshield wipe from side to side. Ladies, let's set up for our Shavasana. If you are able to, feel free to come into a reclining position with your blocks into an L shape and recline back. Feel free to find that side lying position on your left side. Maybe keep the bottom leg straight, hiking up the top leg. If you're doing that, whether it's both legs or one leg hiking up, make sure that whatever you're putting in between the knees is also in between the ankles, so that you're keeping your knees at hip distance apart as well as your ankles hip distance apart, and not having your ankles touch as your knees are separated. Allow the hands to rest on your belly or off to the side, palms facing up. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Let's do one more deep breath in and completely sigh it out. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Begin to awaken the body. You can wiggle fingers and toes, roll wrists and ankles. You can roll your head from side to side if that's feasible for you. When you're ready, you can take the hands over the head, stretch out the feet, stretch out the legs. And then as lazily as possible, press the hands into the mat, into the ground, coming up into a comfortable seat. Once again, let's roll the shoulders back and over the hips, sitting nice and tall. And just rest the hands on your hips, on your thighs, on your knees, as you close your eyes and just notice your breath. Notice your body. Notice your intention that you set one at the beginning, if you set one at the beginning, noticing any changes, any adjustments, any shifts anywhere. When you're ready, take the hands to heart center, press the thumbs into the center of your chest, right there in between the chest and the sternum. Lift the sternum up so you're lengthening through the upper back a little longer. Let's take a deep breath in. Let it out through the mouth with a sigh. Thank you, ladies, so very much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.